All right. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are at. Thank you for joining us this morning on Eye Openers. Today, I have Jacqueline Hudson with me. Thanks so much for joining, Jacqueline.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me, Brittany.
Of course. I'm so excited to speak with you today because, well, for so many reasons, right? But you really stood out to me with your just breadth of experience in different industries. But of course, being a female founder, number one, like I love bringing on C-suite women because you just have an edge to you that other people don't. And being in tech and the way that you guys are using technology to really disrupt an industry that hasn't seen it yet. So excited to dive into these stories today. Hey, Bernard, thanks for joining us. I will be popping in and out to answer extra questions as viewers submit them. So don't be shy, guys. Like, write your questions in the comments. But first and foremost, on Eye Openers, we talk about what are you drinking this morning? Because
I'm
you
having,
little thing, like a shot, right?
I love my Cafe Umbria coffee.
Okay.
I'm promoting them right now. And obviously, that beautiful logo. I just love my cup. I always have my coffee every morning. So I do love a caramel latte. So
Oh,
that's my thing. It's my only indulgence in the morning. With that, maybe in a chocolate croissant, right? So
yes. That's
they
a good
together go beautifully.
Yes, they go beautifully together. But the question is, what type of milk? That's the
Well, this
question.
this is like a wonderful creamer. It's like I forget which creamer it is, but it's so good. It's just delicious, and it's with the caramel flavor. It's just I love it. So
Awesome. I was at a cafe the other day and ordered a latte, and they were like, "Do you want regular milk, oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk?" Like wow, there are just so many options now. Who knew?
right, yeah, and it's nice that there is a lot of options now. Not everybody
It's
wants
true.
dairy.
It's
It's one of those things where I think that people have so many varieties to choose from when it comes to coffee. And I'm British originally, so for me, back in England, you drink a lot of tea, right?
true.
So you have your black tea with a spot of milk. If you have Earl Grey, you put lemon in there. But America is so full of, obviously, we're big coffee drinkers here, and it is
It's
really
true.
good. So you can't beat it.
It's true. We do have a variety there. So I want to give you a proper introduction because we just like
Thank
gave your
you.
coffee an introduction. But really, you have this spectacular resume of being a top 40 under 40 from that top 100 magazine in the US. You are a global speaker. You have lectured in 14 different countries. You specialize in strategic planning, management, really just so many different things under your belt, but you founded Luxe Digital Now Corporation. And that's really, what I wanted to talk with you about what you guys are doing there. And in less than 2 years, you've achieved the top spot. I mean, this is like really phenomenal growth. You work with
Yeah.
huge brands. How did you do it? Would you mind just like giving us a little information about your story and how you
Yeah,
got
absolutely. I mean, Lux Digital Now actually was birthed back in like 2018. It was a boutique firm. We were just an LLC back then, and it really derived from my passion for the digital marketing industry.
Mhm.
But my background was almost like a decade's worth in media as well as digital media for all those major brands we're talking about, where I
Mhm.
worked for a company called Mode Media. And it was a phenomenal experience because I must have represented about 300 brands in about over a decade or more. And, a lot of those were top name beauty brands, top name luxury brands. And it just gave me that experience and that breadth of knowledge that I needed. And then I said to myself, well, now hang on a minute. I need to really further my education in this industry so I know what I'm doing, even a better capacity.
Yeah.
So I got my PGD. Now PGD is similar to like a master's in the States.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
got that out of Dublin, Ireland, the DMI Institute, and passed with distinction, which was fabulous. There's not many people that have that kind of level of qualification
Oh,
in
okay.
the digital marketing world. So
Okay.
I really wanted to specialize, really wanted to be the expert in the industry. And then, COVID happened, which was crazy. We were talking to major brands in 2019, 2018, early 2020. And then COVID happened, but we still fought through COVID. And we did a lot of, seminars and summits, beauty summits where all the major brands are, and really start building the brand. We then released what we call beauty personalized tech. So some of our technologies that you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
are like Liquid Beauty AI, which is one of the premier augmented reality virtual simulation cosmetic mirrors. So that is so new for the market. And we
Can
really,
you just describe how somebody would
yeah,
use that so they
yeah,
understand?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, it's an incredible experience. So you can actually use it either on your mobile phone, or you can use it in store at a mirror or like an iPad. And what it does is it basically scans your face, scans your skin about like 5 to 10 million times. It's amazing. And then what it will do, now we're not medically diagnosing anybody. That's just, we don't do that. It's more for aesthetic purposes. But what we've done is almost like 3 to 4 years of research. And what it does is it will scan your skin and it tell you exactly what you need. So if you have fine lines, wrinkles, let's just say acne, oily skin. And then what we've done is produced it in such a way that when we have like a branded line, let's just say, for instance, an Estee Lauder or L'Oreal, installed into that application or that digital application, then it recommends their skincare products. And then there's the fun side. You can do augmented reality, so you can try on cosmetics, lipsticks, foundations.
Fascinating.
It's really fabulous. So it's a full spectrum consultation for you personally. And then you move on and you buy the products that you'd like to have. Now, on a grander scale, what we've done is something a little different, where we're including the hardware side of the technology as well. So we include the mirrors. So the mirror application, touch screen, does the same thing, virtual simulation, the skin scanning, and then lets you know how you can beautify yourself every single day. So it's really an incredible product. It's cutting edge, innovative, new for the market, especially for the beauty industry, which is so highly coveted right now. And then it's also an answer to the COVID situation, because COVID made it where you can't touch someone's skin personally without being vaccinated, let's say, for instance. This has eliminated all those problems. And right now we're expanding. I mean, we're expanding to Europe, the Middle East. This is really huge in like the Dubai region and so forth. So it's really something to consider as we move forward in this incredible world of the beauty industry. And my passion for beauty has always been there. And that started in my youth, when I was a fashion model. And so, when you get into the industry, it's something that you grow with and you learn to diversify with that as well.
Well, what an amazing pivot from, being a model to still being involved in this industry, but in such just an interesting way. Once I heard about the technology that you guys were using, I was really fascinated. I mean, I think it's the ultimate pivot in COVID that, you're right. Like the other day I went into a Sephora and you're not allowed to touch anything and whatever, which I totally get. I don't want anybody touching me either right now. And I don't want to try something that 100 people have had their hands in, but you can't. But then why are, you're being asked to spend a lot of money on a product you can't see or touch. So it's really, really difficult. And it makes so much sense. Like what would this look like on me? Even just coloring or whatever. So it's such wide application. Bernard says, amazing work, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Not alone in thinking that. So you are obviously somebody who, works on a big scale, has a big vision. I'm curious, if you and I were to speak 3 years from now and you picked up the phone and said, oh my gosh, Brittany, it's so great to hear from you. What would you be telling me about? What would you be so excited to share? Hey, this is what we did. This is where it went, or this is what I achieved. What would that be?
I think in 3 years, and it's funny you say this because, as an organization, you plan and you forecast for, the next 3 to 5 years, right?
Mhm.
So that being said, we've gone ahead and planned that out already. So 3 years, I'll be honest with you, we'll be a multi-billion-dollar company. And the reason for that is because this technology is so innovative, is so different. We don't just have Liquid Beauty AI, we also have AI DAS, which is our artificial intelligence data analytical system for the data solution. I mean, when you look at how much data leakage is out there,
Mhm.
it's insane. So what this does, this software gives you full control of your data. Finally, we have something that can do that. And then we also are going into holographic technology. So holographic technology and the VR simulation of that, and being able to produce renderings for, say, engineers, architects, the medical
Mhm.
industry. So if you'd ask me where I'm in 3 years, I'm going to say, well, number one, we're all over the world. We're which we're already doing, but I would say very
Yes.
successfully installed all of our technology all over the world. And I think we'll have a major voice. Maybe even by then have gone public as a company. We're actually priming one of our companies to go public. So, I think that's where we would be at. And I would love to think, in 3 years that we've given back. We've helped support the economics, growth with, job creation, economical growth for countries, or in the beauty industry and things like that. So, on a business scale, absolutely, I think that we're going to reach that marker for sure in
Mhm.
3 years.
Mhm. And so, with that kind of, I guess, horizon in front of you, and what your trajectory is, what you're aiming for, what is you do have different products, you do have different markets here. Of all of those, what do you see as the greatest opportunity in front of you right now? That if you focused in on one of those projects, one of those opportunities, what would it be?
So when you ask that question, do you mean like which one of our products would be the most successful? Which one would be more prominent in the industry or in the world? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes. If there's one, if I had to, in order to create that vision you just told me about that you're aiming for, what
Yeah.
is the one, either product or market in there that you see as the greatest opportunity for you guys?
It's funny you say that because we are actually incredibly popular in the Middle East. And a lot of luxury brands are, and the way we ventured ourselves, what makes us unique and sort of an expert in the industry as a technology industry expert and a corporation, is the fact that we specialize in fashion, luxury, beauty, tech. That's who we
Mhm.
design it for. We don't design it for any other industry. So if there's any impact we're going to have major impact in those industries. And specifically, if it's geographically, I would say huge impact in the MENA industry, which is Middle East / North Africa. Also, India. In fact, we're in talks with L'Oreal India right now. Can you imagine Liquid Beauty AI all over India? That would be massive. And then also, let's just say South America and North America. When I say North America, I mean like the Canadian market, which is untapped as well. So I would
Wow.
say that the biggest vision is to put Liquid Beauty AI and AI DAS on the map. And those are our two premier technologies under Luxe Technologies Inc. And that is just going to definitely skyrocket into an IPO, because there is no reason that can't go IPO at any functionality. But I'm so proud, I'll be honest with you, with the invention of Liquid Beauty AI and the augmented reality and the virtual cosmetic simulator, because it's one of a kind, it's unique, it gives a personalized beauty experience, it answers a lot of the dilemmas that are in the market right now for the beauty industry and also for the
Mhm.
consumer, and actually helps accelerate the growth instead of stagnate the growth. But I would say definitely Liquid Beauty AI would be our premier product out there. And I think those specific markets, it's just going to accelerate, horrendously in a good way to
Right.
those regions for sure.
Right. I mean, there's just tremendous opportunity in those markets that you described, and it sounds like you guys are really well positioned because of the niche that you are just, primed for.
Right.
So, tell me, in those opportunities that you articulated, what's the biggest challenge you guys are facing right now? And I ask that
Yeah.
question. I know it's hard as an entrepreneur being interviewed like live, but I ask it for an important reason, because this show is about a landing space for entrepreneurs who are having challenges, who do find that there's struggle and aren't sure, of where to talk about it, or they feel really alone in those challenges that
Oh
they
yeah.
face. So it's
Oh yeah.
important to create a space and create a model for that it's okay to have challenges and struggle,
Yes.
and that you've definitely worked through several of them yourself. So what are those challenges that you guys face
Yeah.
right now?
There's so many, to be honest with you, Brittany. I'll be honest with you. When you take on a leadership role, and specifically a role as a CEO of, let's just say, a corporation, or companies or subsidiaries, it's a massive responsibility. And so responsibility, and the weight of that responsibility is enormous. And there is nothing that can prime you or ready you for that challenge, apart from the fact that you have a strong will to succeed, and also a strong will to take risk, because risk and success are a marriage. And I'll say that because the only time you will grow is when you take massive risk. Okay. And people are so scared of that. Entrepreneurs are terrified, or anybody's terrified to take a risk, because they think that they're going to fail. And that's not the truth. The truth is that failure is not the option. What happens is that maybe a stratagem hasn't conclusively worked. So change the stratagem and move it along into a different area. And believe me, we've had to do that through COVID. We've had to close down some of our companies. Okay, we had to consolidate it down, because what was the focus? What is the focus? What is going to make the profit for the organization? What is the strength of this organization? So we've had to consolidate down, and and that is a painful thing, because you go, oh, hang on a minute, now what am I doing? So basically, you put some of your projects on the back burner, or some of your companies on the back burner, come back to them later, but focus on what is going to be successful for you right here, right now. What's the need? What's going to work? Most people are afraid, are full of fear. And you have to overcome that. You just have to overcome fear. And number one is fear for everybody. So, because you will face every single day, and I mean literally every single day, massive challenges that you have to overcome. And it becomes the norm. So if you are uncomfortable now, you'll be more uncomfortable in more in a leadership role. And the reason I say that is because it is a very, very unique position for unique individuals. And I think that you have to have a comprehensive understanding of what you're doing, of your market, understanding what your expertise is in that area, and executing it really well. Never lose sight of that, and realize that we all have a good days and bad days. It's not a flawless process. And I think that is the illusion that people fall under, that it's a flawless process. It is dedication after dedication after dedication. It's long hours. It is, I'm up at 3 a.m. in the morning, sometimes up till midnight. That is the way it runs. When you're CEO, you never sleep. And that's really the truth. Do you want the real truth? That's the truth. And are you willing to do that though? How focused are you in life? And how focused are you and dedicated to your vision? And if your vision is great, then your dedication needs to meet that vision. Okay. And that, I think, really is the key to success, but also overcoming a lot of obstacles. COVID is a constant strain, because it's affecting everything. So you have to be able to, it's not about having a tough skin. It's not about having, it's about having resiliency, perseverance, and the dedication to the vision, because that is what will get you through. the tough times.
Thank you for being willing to go there and share that and be so real about it. So
Oh
for
yeah.
those of you who are still here, who are not scared away by Jacqueline's honesty about what it really takes to run a business, I would love for you to share a moment where maybe it felt like, gosh, you were just grinding something out or something was headed towards failure. And there was a moment where something clicked for you, or you saw something the way you hadn't seen it before, and it changed the direction either you headed in, the strategy, or the outcome. Tell us a story of an insight, an eye opener, please.
Yeah, an eye opener. Well, there's always your competitors, right? So if our leading technology is liquid beauty AI, we have about three competitors. One of the, I'm not going to name them, but they are out there.
Yeah.
And when you're going after the same clientele in the beauty industry and you want to win them, that really can affect your your performance overall, as an inside sort of situation, what you're trying to achieve on the marketing level of everything. There was one client who won a client that we were after, and it was a big client. And it feels crushing at first. And you're like, oh my God, where did we go wrong? Where did we miss something? Where are they ahead of us? But what I looked at it like, at first I was, I felt the emotion of failure, which was, something you go, I failed in this. I didn't succeed in winning this particular client. Where did we go wrong? Why did they win it? And then I said to myself, you know what? It's actually a good thing. Competition is a good thing. And I said to myself, where we're different, the new strategy that came from that, what I felt was a failure. And I was told by my partners, you're not a failure. But I'm very hard on myself. I'll be honest with you. So it just comes with the territory once again.
The common thread for
founders. But the new strategy was, I said to myself, okay, where are we different? What makes us different? It's almost like Dell comparing themselves to an Apple, right? What makes Dell computers significantly different than the Apple computer? There's a different, competitive analysis. So what I came up with is a different competitive analysis, different strategy, and said where we're different is, number one, our geographical region of where we're going to outreach. That was the answer, because markets that don't have it but need it desperately. And then at the same time, the fact that we do the hardware too. We don't just do the software, we do the hardware. Plus, we back it up with data analysis structure, which is something that is not part of what our competitors are doing. So that was an experience that, I learned from, but at the same time realized that, it just makes you stronger. It really makes you more like, oh, I've got this. I can do this. We can make this happen. And, the outreach, and really the bigger thought was the market outreach. And I think that was the best stratagem we could think of with a geographical area where it's not as, where it's, again, a very needed product. A good example is like the Dubai, Abu Dhabi market, where it's, very wealthy, very much needed, and will be utilized heavily over that market in that area. So that really, and I always say there's a lot, and I mean a lot of beauty companies that need this product. It's not just, one or two or three or four that are exclusive with it. But I'm very passionate about what I do. So, I do put a lot of effort and energy behind it. I put a lot of effort and energy behind our teams.
Right.
And I think I'm thinking that was one of those ones that really hit me hard.
Yeah, right. I've been there. I've felt that kind of like defeat, right? Where you're like, how did I lose out on this? But it sounds like what it forced you to do is it kind of examine it from maybe the customer's perspective of like, oh, how did I not, sell us in the way that to see the value to the customer.
Right.
And that's what's really tough for a lot of entrepreneurs, because you see it from your seat. And that's very different than how the customer sees you, right? And so you had to shift what maybe you thought your greatest value point was to see it from what they think your greatest value point was.
And I think another strategy we came up with was the fact that they are more known in the market than we are right now. We just came out with liquid in November of 2020.
Mm.
So the competitor that we're competing against has been out a little bit longer. So it was also the trend of knowing the product, trusting it because it's been out longer, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
ours is 10 times more sophisticated. And I'm not, downing their product. I'm just saying it's just 10 times more sophisticated.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely 100% confident that we're going to win, and we are winning major accounts. I mean, we're talking to L'Oreal India, we're talking to
Amazing.
Davine Spa, we're talking to, Oriflame of Sweden. I mean, just major companies. And that is, I mean, we've got about 70 companies in Dubai right now that want this product.
That's
And that's a ton of clientele just within less than a month. I mean, so
right.
you can imagine the expansion that's going to happen with this product. Yeah, it's massive.
So I want to ask you, because that brings me to my next point. So I help entrepreneurs with their people and developing their teams. And one thing that struck me about you when we spoke earlier was that you said, hey, I love to take and develop superstars in my organization. And
Yes.
I want to hear, because we know you can't do this alone. There's no way you reached out to 70 companies on your own, right? You have an awesome team behind you, as any good organization does, any great C-suite person does. Tell me, what is like one or two things that you do that you feel makes a huge difference in the way that your team shows up and is, invested in this organization and its growth? How do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's funny because Lux, I like to compare it to it having like an it factor, the it factor where, it just, whatever it touches turns to gold, I feel. And the presence, the brand, the image we've put out there, the execution that we've done on that level. Whenever we bring new staff in, especially the team we have currently, it's just wonderful to see them excel. It's wonderful to see them, in the press. It's just,
Mm.
I like to make stars out of my staff. And the reason being is all of a sudden, they go from, like, say, a job that was not, it was more drudgery, didn't have any expansion to it. I
Mm.
like to say shoot for the stars because you're going to hit the moon, right?
Yes.
And the reason for that is because I just think we just have this special it factor as an organization. And as soon as you join it, you sparkle, you become a star. And I've seen, I mean, they're talking to major brands. They're able to execute at a very high level. I give them that ability to do that in the sense of, here you have the freedom, explore your talent. I like to exploit talent. And I say that in a good way. I don't say that in a negative way, like, oh, I'm exploiting you. I
Yeah.
mean, I want to exploit your talent. I want to bring it out because I know there's something inside certain individuals that I see that
Mm.
is right there that can happen. And they become stars overnight. I mean, our co-managing partner, I mean, he's already just been listed with one of these major luxury magazines out of India as one of the top male global leaders of 2021. I mean, it's wonderful to see. I love seeing this. I
Yeah.
know our VP of Ops in Dubai, he's doing phenomenal too. Just with all of his recognition. And I think that it just really, really plays a big part in, executing talent at the highest level. And so many
Right.
people are afraid to have their employees do that, like to reach, great heights. But I have no problem with that. And I think that this is the great foundation to explore that with. We have enough media coverage to get that kind of solution out there as well for them. So yeah, I mean, I really truly see them all just rise as rising stars, and
Mhm.
they really
Mhm.
are. So
Yeah.
I
Is
love
there a system or a structure or anything that you use to kind of help drive that? I mean, clearly
oh yeah.
data and AI and all that is super important to you. You're, a technologist in your heart. I am a huge social science nerd, so I love this kind of stuff. And for the people listening at home, is there an actual tactical thing that you would recommend they do, or like a system they employ, or some kind of accountability piece to really help drive that performance in a real objective
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean, there's a lot of different ways to execute that, and I think a lot of it is one on one, with your staff all the time. I mean, I have a tight team and I keep it very tight in the sense of my one on one with them, my drive, my own personal drive, and then to pull out their drive.
Mhm.
I think that that's really critical and key. And then we use a lot of technology, obviously, for communicational purposes,
Yep.
and also to develop a good working remote structure. Because some
Mhm.
of our now that COVID is, sort of subsiding in the sense of we're able to go back to the office and everything like that. We do have that systemology in place as well. So we have like a hybrid system with going in the office and being remote. But I just really feel that it's really direct leadership and just being there and talking to your staff and encouraging them to do like reach amazing heights. And each time they do that, they really do. Of course, we use different software systems in place. Maybe like communication tools, not to drop any names, but we do use Google Suite. We do use, Slack. We have used Skype.
Mhm. Right.
Just different
Basic
Monday.com.
communications.
Yeah,
Yeah.
communication. So like for project management deliverables, we use Monday.com. We
Yep.
use the whole Google Suite. We have literally got like we use Google Drive a lot for putting all of our materials in and having accessibility for our teams to be able to do that. We use that a lot. Um, and like I said, not to drop their name, but it really is a very helpful system. We do use a lot of CRM systems as well, and that is incredibly helpful for the overall organization as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely, we're using a ton
Awesome.
of tech to just build what we're doing as an
Yeah.
internal system too.
Right.
So that,
Right.
that works really well.
And thank you for being willing to share candidly about that, because it, like, even basics like that, you're like, oh, we just use these things. It's so great to hear, like, these are the exact same tools that are available to you no matter what size your company is. And you hear somebody who's, international business person using these same tools. So it's really encouraging to know that you have access to the best stuff as well, no matter what your level is. And
Right.
there's no excuse to not,
Oh yeah.
run a tighter business, run a more accountable, yet data-driven organization. So thanks for
Mhm.
sharing that. So I would love to give people the opportunity to reach out to you if they had questions after this interview, or if they had, a connection to make for whatever reason. What is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
I'm more than happy, for people to get in touch with through email. I mean, we have, if you want to send that out through the chat, we're more than
I'll put it in. Yeah.
welcome to do that. They can reach me there. And then, we do have a system also on Skype if they want to do like chat or, book an appointment with me, we can do that as well. So, that's probably the best ways to reach me, or like through immediate communications. And then if they have more thorough questions, I think that the email would be more sufficient for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Eye Openers. You guys, everybody, Jacqueline Hudson,
Yes,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much. You're a fantastic guest.
You're
And
so
to all of
welcome.
you guys who joined us today, thank you so much. If you were a little too shy to ask your questions today, feel free to leave them in the chat or message me, and I will get those over to Jacqueline. And there, like we covered today, face your fear. Be fearless today. And
Absolutely. And
it's a
just to
little
leave on a
easier.
quote too with you, Brittany, we actually are sponsoring a Sarlat rugby team in France. And the coach, he always says about me being fearless, a fearless leader. So yeah, I agree with you on that point. Be a fearless leader and just go for it. Literally just keep going.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it here first. Be fearless this week. And until next time, have a good one.
Thank you.